for rotating with respect to the pivot. Okay, with X pivot and Y pivot, we were doing it with the same learning rate. We used to deduct it, either make it up or down, the values as up or down, right? So that we were decreasing the value of 7 by the learning rate. Well, it's easy that we did it earlier. Uh, it was just to shift the line up and increase the closeness to the point. Suppose what we did, a point, blue point was here. Now we give this blue point as maybe like a from the special location, we just give it like 4.5. Okay, fourth row and fifth column, for example, we give it, or fourth pixel, fifth column, we give it. Okay, row and column. Now we did we drew a line here, and then we want this blue point to come under this blue region. It means that this line has to be drawn somewhere like this. Okay, it has to be drawn somewhere like this. So what we did it like a improving or releasing, like adding or deleting some value, negating some value from this 7. We were able to do up or down like this. Okay, movement of this line, shifting this line. Now and we used to also rotate with respect to x-intercept and y, sorry, x coefficient and y coefficient with respect to clockwise direction or anti-clockwise direction, and we used to do that one. Now let us see. Suppose we do like some other operation like 4 and 5. This 7 we will do same as earlier what we did with respect to the learning rate, 0.1. Now by what amount 2 and 3 should be changed now? If we are using a modified perceptron algorithm, what we need to do is that reduce 2, this x coefficient, okay, by learning rate times 4. So x and y. So 4 into learning rate, reduce this, and this one 5 into the learning rate for y coefficient. Okay, you have to do it. So now reduce 2 by this 2 by the learning rate times 4. Okay, this 4 proportional to x coordinate. Okay, proportional to this x coordinate, and this will rotate the line and relatively bring closer to the point. So earlier this line was somewhere here and we made it little bit this side. Similarly, y, okay, if you do it for y, so after this 2 operations, you see that similarly reduce 3 by the learning rate times of 5. This 5, okay, this 3 reduce with learning rate times into 5. Proportional to the y coordinate. So proportional to this particular y coordinate. So if you do this particular equation, now turns out like this one is reduced by 0.1. Okay, this one is reduced by like a 2 in this was learning rate into 4, and this one is, this value 3 is reduced by learning rate into 5. So 1.x6, okay, 1.6x. So 0.4 is reduced here. 1.6x plus 2.5y. 0.5 is reduced here, plus minus 7. So 0.1 is reduced here. So minus 7.1 equal to 0. Now the equation. Now the equation of the line is this one, and it has shifted drastically nearness to this particular point. So finally we get equation which reduces 2 by 0.4, 3 by 0.5, and 7 by 0.1. Now, can we do like this? We have a learning rate, we have an equation. Can we generalize the equation we get for this particular formula? Okay, how? A minus 0.1 into P, A minus this A, suppose the equation of the line is AX plus BY plus C equal to 0. Then A minus 0.1 into P. P is nothing but this learning rate. Okay, learning rate into this learning rate into P, like which proportion? This is the P comma Q. Okay, this learning rate into P is, so this P and this PQ. Suppose this dot, this point which need to be brought under the coverage of that line is P comma Q. So A minus this A minus 0.1 learning rate into P. Okay, this P x, this x you are not doing anything, plus B, this one B minus 0.1 learning rate into Q. Okay, this Q, learning rate into this Q, PQ into Y plus C minus the learning rate. Okay, equal to 0. So the earlier equation, if you have seen the earlier equation, this equation only, when we reduced by these particular proportions and generalizing it, we got this particular line, or like this is the equation that we are going. A minus learning rate into Px plus B minus learning rate into Q Y plus C minus learning rate equal to 0. So generalizing the equation, we get this above formula. Now, the perceptron learning algorithm is described like this. Step 1 is start with a random line ax plus by plus c equal to 0. Anywhere you can draw the line, it doesn't matter. Step 2 is pick a large number, so the number of epochs. So epochs, as we say, epoch means one the number of iterations taken for one like a complete skimming of the database, right? Now, like a step 3, pick a small number to limit the amount, like you have to pick the learning rate. So first one is select a random line, start with a random line. Second step is pick up the number of epochs. Third point is select the learning rate. So till the number of epochs fade away, you have to do, what you have to do is that you can go down or increase and decrease and get this faded away. So pick a random point P comma Q. Any point you can pick. Suppose you are seeing this one. Okay, suppose you are seeing this point. Okay, random point. If correctly classified, do nothing. So this is correctly classified because this line is given and this point is basically on the right side. Okay, right side in the sense like it is on the correct side. What I mean to say. Okay, now you are picking a random point. For example, this is the point. If blue point is in red area, so this blue point is in red area, this region, it is not correct, right? So if correctly classified, then do nothing. If not correctly classified, it means that something is there. So if blue, and mostly as I said you that perceptron training algorithm or this perceptron is for only binary classifier. You have to remember this one, and which are linearly separable, right? Earlier what we have discussed also. Now, so you, if blue point is in red area, this red area, so this is the point we are speaking about. Blue point is in the red area, red zone. So subtract the learning rate into P to A. Okay, subtract the learning rate into P. P is this one. So you have randomly picked up some point, right? Which point you have picked up? So this is the point. So PQ, what is the PQ value? So P value into 0.1 to A. So it means that here you have to reduce this value and subtract 0.01 Q. Suppose here we have taken the learning rate is 0.01. Okay. So the learning rate into Q to B. To B also some value have to be reduced, which is, that is nothing but learning rate into Q, this PQ value, Q value, okay, has to be reduced to B and subtract the learning rate from C. Suppose if red point is in the blue area, so this red point is in blue area, then you do add. Here you have to subtract. Here you have to add the learning rate into P to A, add the learning rate into Q to B, add the learning rate to C, so that it will come this side. This is, you wanted to shift this line this side, so it happens like this. Okay, if blue point is in red area, you follow this particular structure. If red point is in blue area, you follow this particular small calculations. Okay, now, so the thing is very simple here. If blue point is, if the point is blue, okay, it means that this point that you have taken is a blue point. Then and AP plus BQ plus C is greater than 0. Okay, it means that it is greater than 0 here. This reason you are thinking about this reason, it means that you need to move this side. So you subtract this value. So for earlier algorithm and this the earlier same slide only thing is that the condition we are changing here, not changing, basically we are generalizing it. Okay, if point is in, if the point is blue and AP plus BQ plus C equal to 0. So it is in the positive region, this side. Okay, you're considering this as positive, this is the negative region. Okay, then you subtract these values like the computations. If point is a red point that you have chosen, this point chosen is a red point, and AP plus BQ plus C is less than 0, it means that it is in the negative region, then you add. Okay, if it is a negative region, you add. If it is in the positive region, you subtract. That is what is told here. Okay, this is the perceptron learning algorithm. What is the reason why we do this one? Earlier we simply what we were doing it for this C learning rate. Okay, we are for A, B and C, we were simply deducting the learning rate and we were able to do it. But now this one, learning rate, deduct learning rate from C, deduct learning rate into Q from B, deduct learning rate into P from A, we are doing this one. What is the reason here we are doing? In this modified perceptron training algorithm or learning algorithm, what it happens is that this line, this particular line or this particular uh, separator has to separate exactly, right? It has to separate exactly the red point or the binary classifier into a linearly separable two classes, exactly two classes. So in order to converge to a solution, wherever the line is drawn, however the line is drawn, to converge to a solution, so this modified perceptron algorithm basically gives a faster convergence to a solution. That's why we are doing this one. Only trick we used is that subtracting learning rate into P and learning rate into P, multiplying, or either subtract or add, it doesn't matter to us. Okay, but like when depending upon the positive or negative reason, you just do the subtraction or addition. Okay, and you do it learning rate into P and learning rate into Q with various multiples, different multiples of this learning rate are either subtracted or added from this A and B. This is the difference that we are making it, and with this minor difference we are able to go for faster convergence. That is the reason. Now let's understand perceptron with an example. Okay, so assume that you are having a 4-pixel camera. You are able to take a picture with this 4-pixel camera. Now we can give this 4-pixel camera as completely, see, this is the, like, suppose all the pixels, 4 pixels are white or all the pixels are black, then you can take that one as a solid one. Okay, solid figure. This one, suppose one side is white and one side is black, or this side is vertical separation. Okay, one side is white and another side is black, for example. Then vertical separation. This one either diagonal, this diagonal or this diagonal is either white or black, like that. Then diagonal separator. This is horizontal, up and down. Okay, top is white and bottom is black, or top is black and bottom is white. Then we can call this one as a horizontal. So can we suppose, how can we separate this one? This given a 4-pixel camera, okay, it is given, how can we classify into a solid or vertical or diagonal or horizontal image? Assume that these values are being filled with pixels with some values. So the pixel brightness basically is measured from +1 to so you have that 0 to 255, right? Pixel values, the colors ranging, right? Here this only a grayscale image, so it may be like for a grayscale image you have only -1 to +1. Okay, so in between, this is 0 is completely gray image, white is the +1 completely bright, and -1.0 is the darkest image. So a number is assigned depending on the brightness of the pixel. So if the pixel is more bright, it means that it is trending this side. If the pixel is more dark, it means that that pixel is trending this side. Okay. Now assume that this is the input vector. So this is the 4-pixel camera. Okay, and the screen, okay, pixel 1, 2, 3, 4, for example. This one is, assume that it is 0.5, and this is the gray scale, it is 0. Okay, assume that this is actually this value, this one should be here and this one should be here. So this is like minus 7.5. So this value, it means that this one, okay, it should represent this one. But assume that whatever may be, don't bother about this particular color, but bother about this one. It is minus 0.75, and this one is, it should be more dark. So this is the darkness value. So 0. More white bright it is. So it is nearness to 1. So it is 0.75. So pixels are broken down to form a list of numbers known as input vector or array. This is considered as these pixels, like how we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, what is that? 28 cross 20, 28. We have seen, right? Like that, this is 2 cross 2, that is 4. So you are having 4 pixels. For pixel 1, pixel 2, pixel 3, and pixel 4, right? This is considered as the input vector now. Now, assume that these are the receptive fields, okay, taking into consideration others, this checkers, please ignore for time being, and consider this is this one as a like the receptive field for this input. This is the receptive field. For this one, this input field is the receptive, this is the receptive field. For this one, it is, this one is the receptive field, and for this one, this is the receptive field. Just assume that. So what set of input makes the neuron to reach its highest value? So based on this values, we have to predict whichever is the having the highest, that particular node only will be predicted. Okay, so each input neuron is associated with just one pixel, and when the pixel is all white, it means the neuron has the highest value. Black and white checkered areas, these are the areas. Okay, this should be area shows pixel that are ignored by the input neuron. For the input neuron, this is ignored. Okay, now adding the values generally. So from taking this one, now build a neural network, a neuron is created. So now to build a neural network, a neuron is created, and then it adds all the values of the input neuron. So from here and here and here and here it goes. So sigma wi bi, that was what we have seen, right? Summation of uh, uh, weights and inputs, wi xi. Okay, wi xi, that was xi is the input and wi is the weight for that particular input. So for this one, it is like, suppose the weight here is 1.0 only. It means that 1 for all of this one. So we have given like multiplied. So 0.50 into 1, 0 into 1, minus 0.75 into 1, 0.75 into 1. So this is what we have added like this, and then we got 0.50. This is the value. So here the value is 0.50 for this particular neuron. So each of the connections is weighted. So weighted means it may be like some weight may be there assigned. Here for time being, we have given like -1 to +1, for example, and that is they are multiplied by some number, some weights. Okay, so weight shows the strength of the node, right? Each weight, this like edge shows the strength of the node. So assume that we have changed the weights. So this is -2.0. Okay, this is 0.0, this is 0.8, and this is -0.5. So in that case, this input followed by wi xi. So wi, this is the weights, and this is the xi wi in this case. Okay, xi wi, if you calculate, so this value is something around 1.075. Okay, this value is 1.075. So this is the output of this particular neuron is 1.075, right? Now the thing is that we use some activation function to limit or bound the values of the output of a neuron. So once the weighted input neuron is added, they are squeezed to a particular range of values, and that is known as the activation function. So here, what is an activation function? A function used to convert an input signal of a node in an artificial neural network to an output signal. So this is So it takes the input from this neuron. Okay, this input, the value output of this neuron, it means the summing function value results, it will take it and it will give a value after like between some x and y range. Okay, that is what is an activation function. So a function which is used to convert an input signal of a neuron in an artificial neural network to a output signal. So example, you see here activation function, a sigmoid squeezing function. If you see this value, like the point goes in a squeezing function along the vertical line, and the output is uh, and the output is the horizontal line intersecting at y-axis. Okay, which is intersecting at y-axis. Suppose you take in x-axis that like this is the input. Okay, for example, this is the value that you got it. So you just check it here. This is the point. So correspondingly, what is the y value? That value you are going to take it as a activation function value. Suppose you see here, for example, it is this function is like this, and it is like assume that it is this is exactly not 1 to 1, but whatever the value it is here like this. Okay, my 1 2 3 4 5, it is jitna, whatever may be the values here in along x-axis, the values will be between -1 and +1 only. Okay, so that this ensures that neuron always lies between -1 and +1, and the function, the activation function formula is f of x equal to 1 by 1 plus e power minus x for this sigmoid function. Now, so for this one, if you pass through a sigmoid squeezing function, okay, squeezed output is 0. Instead of this 1.075, we put it this one as 0.746. So this is the squeezed output from the activation function that we attain. Now, why use the activation function? So if the activation function is not applied, then the output signal would be a more simpler one, right? X is to y only. So directly it is like a linear function, simple linear function, 1 degree polynomial only with minimal power only. There is, okay. Now, without activation function, the neural network would not be able to learn and build the model with more complex data such as images, videos, audios, etc. This is why deep learning is used when the model has a lot of hidden layers in between with a very complicated architecture. So you need to use activation function for every neuron. Okay, for every neuron, after every neuron, you have to use the activation function. So there are several activation functions available. Okay, like some of them, this is the unit step function. Unit step function, or like which is a psi of z equal to, which ranges from 1 to 0 or 0 to 1. Unit step function, this is either it will be 0 or 0.5 or 1 or what, depending upon the z value, the input value. Okay, if 0 if z is less than 0, 0.5 if z equal to 0, and 1 if z greater than 0. So what are the various algorithms that these step values are being used? Okay, this particular equation or this activation function is used, is given here, and this is the one-dimensional graph. Similarly, signum function is -1 to +1 perceptron variants, we use it here. And also this is the linear function. Okay, this is directly linear, and piecewise function, or like a ReLU function. Okay, we can say SVMs like that, we can use it, and the value you can see that the calculations is given here. Logistics or sigmoid function is given here. 1 by 1 plus e power minus x, or if it is z is z, then minus z. Okay, ML multi-layer neural networks, we can use it. Tangent function, this is the tangent function, and ML like a neural network, multi-layer neural network, we can use it like this. One-dimensional graphs are also shown here, and possibly we'll study about this one later also in a few slides later. Okay. Now let us see another example, another a small example of a neural network. So, okay, this neuron network or neural network for OR function. Okay, how this OR function works? We have to train the neurons. Okay, we have to train. So the input is x1 and this x2, and you pass through a black box and you get the output. So if it is x and y, okay, if 0 0, it means that it should be 0, 0 1, it should be 1, because x1 or x2, it should be 1 0, it should be 1, and 1 1, it is 1. So either this or this, right? X1 or X2. This is the function that we are interested in, and we know that this is the table that is. So how do we train? How do we train a neural network for to act this function? Okay, to work with respect to that particular operations. Now, so we have a neuron here, right? Input X1 and X2 pass to a neuron, and you get a Y, which is the output. How? Okay. So here we have got two functions, right? We have said that one is the front end, another one is the back end. One thing is that x1 and y1 value, some summing or some activity takes place in the front end. Earlier we have seen that summing activity. Then afterwards, the net results what we attained from this front end, we give it to the back end to do some activation function and get the output, right? That was what we have discussed earlier also. So if you take the first one, W1, W2, so these are the weights, and this is, so this W1 and W2 is fed to this front end, and the net value is attained as W1 X1 plus W2 X2. Okay, W1 X1, W2 X2, some is equal plus some bias. Okay, what is this bias? Again, we will see this one. So what happens in the back end here for the net result? Linear function y equal to net or y equal to a dot naught with multiple of some value a. So if it is non-linear function, it like again the formula gets varied, and if it is a linear function, this is the thing, and if it is non-linear function, the formula, it depends upon like what type of activation function you are using. So formula differs now. So activation functions, non-linear activation function, threshold function, step function, their piecewise or ReLU function, sigmoid function, radial basis function. So like this, different functions are there. So threshold function, if you see step function, like what we see, y equal to 1 or 0 if net is greater than or equal to 0, 0 if net is less than 0. So we have already seen this one. So I am just skipping. So this is piecewise or ReLU function that you have seen. This is the sigmoid function and radial basis function, and formulas. You need to remember these particular formulas. This is important for you. Okay, this is more important. So these things and all these figures, one-dimensional figures, you can understand very easily. This sigmoid function, and this piecewise function, step function, all these functions, you need to understand the figure. You have to remember the formulas. Okay, that is important for you. Now, so what happens is, given a neural network, now for this OR function, the front end part does the net, it gets the net results, that is net equal to like W1 X1 plus W2 X2 plus the bias. Okay, we will see how to set the bias and why we use bias, we'll see. Now this, like at the back end, we use some threshold function, okay, or the squashing function or activating function, getting some value. Okay, if it is a non-linear one, we use some different functions are there, right? Now W1, W2, B. Okay, this weights and bias. Okay, like we need to understand that these weights have to be assigning this weights and bias is important now for us. How much, what should be these weights, weight W1, W2, and B, such that these functions is true. It means that x1 or x2 equal to y. Okay, it should, these values, it has to satisfy these particular values. So W1, W1, W2, and B. These three things are important things to work out with these particular values now. So how these values we cannot change, but we have to change W1, W2, and B. So what value, for what values of W1, W2, and B, this particular function or this particular values hold true. Now it means that we have to derive or find out what is the value of W1, what is the value of W2, and what is the W of what is the value of B, right? So the learning algorithm is very simple here. Let alpha be the learning rate, okay, a real number, some value, some point values. We generally take it very low learning rate, right? Why do we take a low learning rate? What happens when we take a high learning rate? Somebody? Someone can reply. High learning rate, low learning rate. Earlier we have seen, I have told you also in my last class.
For more accurate value.
Yes, yes.
We can learn.
So there may be a
For
lot,
more
sir.
There may be.
For learning more accurate value, if we take a high learning rate, then maybe some accurate value is missing after, I mean, some.
Yeah, jumping, right? We may
Yes,
not go into like the exact, right?
Yes, sir.
Sometimes, yes, that possibility is there. Like for example, like you are here, and sometimes suppose you are here. If a high value learning rate is there, low, very low rate also. What happens is that like high. Let's say if it is the alpha, this learning rate, this alpha value is very high. Then what happens? Sometimes it jumps from here to here to here to here to here to here. Like this, it may be jumping from here and there, and at last it may not be able to never finding a this particular global minima. Okay, when so due to that one, you will never enter into this global minima. If it is a low learning rate, then suppose for a low learning rate, okay, for a low learning rate, what happens? It comes very slowly like that, and then it comes here. But this type of diagram, it is a very easy diagram, no problem. But assume that it is given like this, okay, like this, it is given. Okay, now you try to find out the local minimum. Okay, then if the learning rate is very small and you are here somewhere, what happens? Sometimes
it may get stuck in plateau region.
yes, it may get stuck in this plateau region, or maybe what happens is that this region or this region or this region, it may get into stuck. Okay, and it will take most of the times.
Unnecessary features, sir.
Yes, pardon me.
Sometimes it may learn unnecessary features also.
Yes, that also it may be there available. That problems also are there. Multiple problems are there. So we have to choose some balanced rate. Okay, this learning rate. Anyway, how to choose that one? That depends upon statistical parameters. We have to choose it again. But so you understand now what is low and what is high. Okay, when you choose a low learning rate and when you choose a high learning rate, what happens? I hope that you understand right now. So let alpha be the learning rate, which is a real number basically. So learning is done by like this. You have to understand these particular formulas. You have to remember, please. Wi should be assigned with Wi plus randomly. You initially give some weights and bias. Generally, we give some bias and weights randomly. Then, depending upon the problem, we'll work out with a problem. Depending upon the problem, we try to do the learning. How? See, this is the formula for weight updation. This is the formula for bias updation. Wi, you have to assign Wi with existing Wi plus alpha into, means the learning rate into d minus y xi, the input. Xi is the input. Now, what is this d minus y? D minus y is the desired output minus the outcome what we have got it. Okay, this is d is the desired output and y is the output of our neural network that we have attained. So desired output minus attained output. Okay, this is, so this formula is important for you for learning rate of a neuron. Okay, for updating your weights regularly, how to update your weights and updating your bias value. B is equal to b plus alpha, means learning rate into bias plus learning rate into this desired minus attained outputs. This is very much important. So please remember this particular formula and this particular formula. This is very much important and it runs on throughout our passing with the different neurons. Okay, throughout our neural networks. Now let us see this. Okay, so we have a neural network and we have a R function here. So this is the values that are given. This is values, this is given. and this value. These are the two inputs. Okay, with this input, this is the output that we are supposed to get it. Okay, now so we have in the front end we are having net. It gives us some net value, and at the back end it takes this net value and provides well with some range. Okay, some range from x to y or something like that. It gives some range which is like some x dash to y dash or something like that. Okay, now suppose the net equal to w1 x1 plus w2 x2 plus b. This is the formula, right? This net equal to w1 x1 plus w2 x2 plus b. This is what happens in the front end, and what happens in the back end, for example, is y equal to 1 if net is greater than equal to 0. It is 0 if net is less than 0. So with this, let us try to train this. Okay, train this data. How? Now assume that the alpha is 0.8. Okay, 0.8 is the learning rate. Now bias, for example, take 1, weight you take 1, and weight 2, weight 1 you take 1, and weight 2 you take 1. Now assume that for this particular data, if this bias are given, will this be sufficient? Will this be correct enough to train this one data and learn? Can this system learn with this particular bias and weights? Let us see how it will do it. So take the first row. Now net equal to w1 x1 plus w2 x2 plus b. So what is the value that you are going to get it? So here, is it correct? w1 x1 w1 x1 0 0 0 plus 0 plus bias equal to 1. So 1 is equal to 1. Fine, right? Yes, y is equal to 1. You are going to get y equal to 1. So this net equal to 1. So net is greater than 0. So it is equal to 1. So net equal to 1, you are going to get it now. Yes, fine. But what we have to get it? The output we have to get it here is 0. We have to get it. We have to get 0. But what we got it here? Y equal to 1 we got it. So that's why it is incorrect. Okay. So now we need to train then. In that case, we need to train. It is not correct. So W1 is equal to W1 plus alpha into this learning rate into desired output minus attained output into X1. So it means that you have to now compute this one. You are changing the weights. Now you are changing the weights and updating the weights and bias now. How to update that? So that equal to 1 plus 0.8 into this weight 1 is 1. Okay. 1 plus 0.8 into this is desired output is 0 and attained output is 1 into 0 x1. X1 is 0 here. So this is the value we have to get it, that equal to 1. Then it means that weight should be this is taken as 1 now, and W2 what it should be, again you compute with the same formula. You compute, this is the weight updation formula, same, but with respect to W2 you have to do it, and X2. So you get 1 again, and bias equal to bias plus learning rate into desired minus attained output. So you get it 0.02. It means that this bias value should be 0.2, whereas weights should be 1 and 1. Now you do it 0.2, weights 1, weight 2, 1. Fine. Now the learning rate is alpha equal to 0.8 and bias is 0.2, weight is 1 and weight 2. Now go with the second line. Okay, second line, second row. Check it now. Again 1.2. So the value is 1.2. This net value is 1.2 and y equal to it is greater than 0. So it is comes under 1. So 1. So should we get it here? Is it right or wrong? Yes, it is correct, because y equal to 1, we are getting y equal to 1. That is fine for us. Okay, y equal to 1. This is the output that what we got it, right? Y equal to 1. Now, correct. Then you do the weights updation. Okay, and then the bias updations 0.2. So yes, 0.2, 1 and 1. So it means that this value should remain like this. 0. Bias should be, so it remains same. Okay, no issue. Now go for the next row. Now compute the net value. Okay, compute the net value, and then net value for this particular row with respect to W1 X1, then 1.2, correct. Then you are going to get 1, and then bias also you compute it, and this bias also you are going to put 0.2. Fine. So it remains same. Now go with the last row. Okay. Now again you do the computation, making these computations. Again this 1 and 1. So it is, if you just substitute here the values, you are going to get it, right? This is 2.2. This is correct. Y is equal to 2.2. Then y equal to, because it is 2.2 greater than 1, greater than the net, greater than 0. So it is comes under 1. It is correct. Then again, updation, when you are doing it, you do it, and you are going to get this value. Fine. Now, yes. So the bias should be 0.2, and the weight 1 should be 1, weight 2 should be 1. Now, again, you see with these values, you check with the first one. Okay. Again, you see with the first one. So 0.2, this is 0.2. Like the first one is 0 and 0, it should be 0. But why you are getting it as 1? Right? So this is incorrect. This one you should get 0, but you are getting why this value as the obtained output is 1. So it means that this is incorrect. Again, do the updations of the weights. Okay, do the updates of W2 and bias update. Now bias value is minus 0.6. So again, update that value. This bias value, you update it as minus 0.6. So instead, earlier it was 0.2. This value was true for all these records, but for this record it was not true, right? That's why we have to now change it. So again, W1, W2 remains same. Okay. Now, so we repeat the above process until the neural network outputs the correct value of Y. That is, Y is equal to D for each possible inputs. So in my next class, I will ask what are the values of B, W1 and W2. Got understand? Did you understand this concept? With this particular learning rate, okay, alpha equal to 0.8 with this particular alpha learning rate. So how much time it will take? So leave about the time, but I want what should be the correct bias and the W1 and W2. These three values, what should be the values? So I will explain you like why we use this bias. What is the necessity for using this bias is, like, for example, you have a data like this. Okay, assume that okay, this for example. So what you can do is that from 0 you can draw a line like this. Okay, for this one, for giving an equation of this line from 0 you can do it. Rather, instead of 0, from 0, okay, what you can do is that from this particular area above, suppose if you give a line like this, so this is the value of bias. This is what is called the bias. So we are trying to give the point from here, from this bias point you want. So you give something so that it exactly gets fit, and you need not take it from 0. Instead of taking from 0, you take it from this particular position. This is what we call it as. This is why we are giving the bias. And this, so now you understand that why bias is important, weights are important. Okay, you adjust the weights and everything. So this is the, what is the expected output? This is expected for this value, this input, this should be the output. Okay, for 0 and 0, it should be 0. For 0 and 1, it should be 1. For 1 and 0, it should be 1. And 1 and 1, it should be 1. So in order to attain, we need to train the neural network. Okay, so how to train the neural network? With one iteration, okay, or with one epoch we have seen. With the second epoch, we have come up to here, right? The second epoch, this is called epoch, means scanning through the complete database once. Okay, we need to see. So how many times, if we take 500 epochs, then 500 times completed scanning of the database has to come, right? This is the concept here. So we have to repeat the above process until the neural network output the correct values of y. So for that particular bias, that particular weight 1 and weight 2, with this learning rate is alpha equal to 0.8, we should get the desired output is equal to the obtained output. Fine. So some limitations are there. It can store, it can only solve linearly separable problems. Now, in my next class, please, I want these values, okay? This bias, this weight W1 and W2. Please make sure that you provide me these particular values for this learning rate. Learning rate, you take it as 0.8. So sometimes you may have to, like, that's why you try with the different learning rates also, where it converges, how fast you converge. That's why, see, that is your experimentation sometimes. Okay, you have a huge data set. You have a huge data set and you wanted to train the system. So this is the process of training. This is the process of training that you will be doing when you are using a neural network as a classifier. Okay, or wherever you use it, this neural network. So this is like a, okay, so limitations is that if given like this, so it can solve linearly separable problems. Probably like this. Okay, this is okay, linearly separable. This is also linearly separable. This is also linearly separable. Okay, you can solve this type of problems, but you cannot solve problems if it is, as I tell you, this is plus, this is plus, this is minus, this is plus, this is plus, this is minus, this is minus, this is minus. Okay, you may not be able to solve this type of problems. Okay, so the next concept is, I will go with the next concept in my next class. I will download the attendance, so make sure.
Yeah, I am downloading your attendance. Let me first off the lecture.